You just hold tight and y'all get to see this wonderful location called the Cumbie Well House that's over on Emancipation in Houston, Texas. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? See, this is why you have friends, y'all. Okay. All right. So we're supposed to be voting ahora misma, which means right now. I am an election day girly. And so I'm going to vote on election day. It's just how it's been, will always be, probably. So I have had lots of conversations, though, with folks that aren't quite researching their ballots, and they're okay with that. I am not, because we have so many races on the Harris County ballot, as I understand it, and I'm about to find out. I don't know all the races that are on there, but I believe somebody said something about 100. I don't know if it's 100 candidates or if it's 100 races. I wouldn't doubt if it is actually 100 races. So if we are only voting in the ones that we see the most publicity behind, we're missing a lot of the ones that most affect our communities on a day-to-day basis. So we have our judges. I think we're finding out right now how important those judges are. And we have them at every level, especially this year in the state of Texas. All of the state representatives are also on it. So you have a council race in Houston. There are tons of races, and these offices mean something and make a difference. So I am going to do what I usually do and research my ballot. I invite y'all to join me for as long as you have or don't have. This will be the only way that you have any insight into what I think about any of the candidates. The reality of it is this: I probably will at some point run for office again. When? I don't know. Which? I don't know. But at some point I will. And in the here and now, I am a new person in this whole thing. And the reality, I'm not willing to waste the political capital because you guys want to be lazy. Like, I'm just not. So, it's just not strategically wise for anyone who supports me. It's not strategically wise for me at this point for me to publicly say, and I doubt it. I would love to be someone who never does the endorsements game. But for here and now, it's also not all that wise for me to say exactly who I'm voting for or who I'm backing. Now, if you run into me in the community, 9 times out of 10, if conversation goes that way, or you're probably at a candidate event, because I do support the candidates on the ground. That'll never change. So if you're really trying to figure out if it's that important to you, who I'm voting for, that's how you would find out for the here and now. But we are going to get into this. This is my first time using this platform. So we're all going to find some things out together. I'll do this tab. So I am going to go find my ballot. If you're in Harris County, the best thing for you to do is I wonder what this looks like on the other side when I share my screen. Oh, great. Okay, y'all get a picture in picture. Wonderful. Okay. So you go to harrisvotes.com, and then you'll see over here that the primary is March 3rd. I am looking for my ballot. And this website has changed some, so that's fun. Let's see. Or maybe it's because I always go on my phone. Oh, well, since we're here, let me take you around. So on this website, not only can you find out your own voter information and the election information, this is also where you can find out about registering and vote by mail, like all of the things related to the election itself. This is also where you can start to look at their campaign finances. You can search and see who has been, fix the tab, slowing your browser. Well, I think let's just dismiss that. Did that work? Yeah, that worked. Okay. So this is also where you can look up campaign finances. You can find out who the existing elected officials are. Of course, there's media, and this is where you find out your election results. And they also have reports on the number of people who are voting. Now, I will say I am so excited because Harris County we have been setting record numbers. So that is really, really, really encouraging for this current season. Um, let's see. I'm going to find my ballot. What's on my ballot? Okay, then this thing pops out. Let's see if I just give them my name. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. I would prefer that y'all don't see my address. And okay, so I'm going to talk to you while I am looking this up. So my sister went to look up her ballot and she said she was not able to get her sample ballot on the Harris County website. I am also having that same problem. I don't like that. That's kind of not cool. And I know that I'm registered because I have my registration card, and I also found it on, I think it was votetexas.gov or something like that. So I was able to find it through the state website. And I honestly thought my sister wasn't clicking the right buttons, but it appears that she was, because mine is not coming up. So, in lieu of, we will just do the full ballot. I typically don't like to look at the full ballot because the full sample ballot is going to have all of the races, including the ones that I'm not able to vote in because I'm not in that district. But neither here nor there. This is where we are. So we'll do this. All right. So this is the full sample ballot. I'm voting in the Democratic race. I can't get behind any Republicans right now. So add free hand drawing. We're not doing all of that. All right. So we're gonna start at the top here. We have the U.S. Senator for Texas. As y'all may or may not know, we have two senators. I believe it's two for Texas. The big one that is happening right now, I'm sure a lot of people have seen either and probably both Jasmine Crockett and James Talarico. And then apparently there is a third guy named Ahmad. So I would like to find out more about Ahmad. So I'm going to start with him. I have seen a lot of Jasmine and James Talarico. So I can kind of give the headlines on what I see so far with the two of them. Jasmine Crockett has been in office for quite some time now, and she's really made some inroads in what she's working on, in the relationship she has. She's on committees. She doesn't yet run said committees, but it says something to have to be a voice in that room, right? If she switches from the House over to the Senate, and these two arms operate differently. In the Senate, it really is, they try as much as possible to work together. And so it is more camaraderie over there. There's less of the mess and fluff. If you watch what you see coming out of Congress, it's usually tomfoolery and shenanigans that are happening over on the House side and less so at the Senate side. And that's because the Senate is much smaller. There's 100 of them. There's 435 of the House. So you have fewer people, which means fewer personalities, but they also it's not that they don't have disagreements or that they don't come out publicly sometimes, but they do tend to have more of their conversations behind, to each other and not to us. So it's not as chaotic. So all of that to set the scene, we have Jasmine who would be moving out of the House and into the Senate. And what I appreciate is that she knows how Washington moves. She's already been up there for some time, and there's so much value to that. I have heard concern about whether or not she will fit the culture of the Senate. I'm not somebody to give a whole lot of weight to that sort of thing. I have seen people move in spaces being their authentic selves that other people thought wasn't possible, but it works for them, right? And I think that Jasmine's at a certain place in her career where she's figured that out. And then you have James Talarico. Um, I love James Talarico. I do. I absolutely appreciate that there is someone who is on the main stage who is very clearly calling out that the Christianity that we see practiced by, or so-called practiced by some of these people, not so Christian like. It's definitely not of the fruit. There's no fruit in it. Where's the self-control? Where's the patience? And my goodness, the kindness and love are just gone. I don't know if what they are thinking they're experiencing is joy is actually joy, or probably not. But I appreciate that we have someone on the main stage saying loud and clearly and in a not acceptable. What's the word I'm looking for? Authoritative, but actual, right? He's saying it so clearly. Digestible was the word I was looking for. I knew it would come. Okay, so he's saying it in a way that is digestible across the board for anyone who believes in Christ, for anyone who is a follower of Christ, right? And we have needed that. I've seen some social media influencers hit on it here or there, but it's not always digestible by the masses. And I've seen it like a one-liner thrown in. I appreciate so much that this man has made that a central part of his campaign. And also at the same time, he hasn't been at that level. And so I think we end up, the decision that we're really making is, do we want someone who knows the lay of the land, who has proven that they know the lay of the land and how to authentically move through that environment? Or do we want someone who's a little bit fresher and newer, who is loudly going against this idea of America being a Christian nation? Because even if we want to define it as that, what they're doing is not that, right? So, yeah, I, in truth, have not 100% decided. Although I will say I'm a much closer. I'm probably like 80-20. I have pretty much decided that race. Not all the way. It could change in the next week before we're elected. Okay, so I'm gonna give this an hour and see how far we can get. So there are gonna be races like that I know some of the players, and I'll just give y'all the rundown as opposed to me doing a whole lot of Googling because we have a lot to get through. This Ahmad Hasson dude. God bless him. Okay, so he is 73 years old, in a time where we are all pretty aware that it's time for a changing of the guard. I do like to hit the ballotpedia on these because they'll tell us if he's ever run before. I feel like I've heard this man's name. Let's see. A lot of times, so some of this stuff may be wrong because we are not voting on April 12th. We are voting on March 3rd. And I'm pretty sure this is the same guy because it says he's a candidate for the Senate in 2026 in Texas. So I'll go through and make sure. But if this is the same person, he has run before. Originally from Egypt, but he been here a long time. That man been here. Right, because he's 73. Professional experience includes working as a businessman, real estate broker. you'll see a lot of real estate folks go after these positions and entrepreneurs because, I mean, you got to think about a lot of these folks. We have to have the time to run for office. Full-time employees usually don't have that time. As well as a professional soccer player. Why don't we get so interesting? Okay, guy. Hey, Hasson. Ahmad Hasson. Okay. Yeah, that's the same guy. He's run before. He didn't win. We could go through his FEC filings. I mean, I'm not voting for this dude, and I don't mean that in any kind of way. It's just the other two check off way more for me. He's got a Facebook page, and if you notice, he has a Facebook page, but not an IG or TikTok. So that's interesting. Community Impact News did an interview with them back in January. Zooming in. For shits and giggles. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but we'll find out. Might as well read what we have here. So Jasmine Crockett, what would your top priorities be if elected? She's focused on affordability, healthcare, and immigration and trade, lower everyday costs through affordable housing, childcare, groceries, gas, and higher wages, continue to fight for universal health care, and then support immigration reform. How will we ensure Texans are able to receive the appropriate aid after natural disasters? That's an interesting question for them to have asked. She'll ensure by unlocking frozen federal funds, securing infrastructure investments, and holding agencies accountable. She secured money after one of our storms and introduced the Hire Act to help. See, I mean, you end up with receipts, you know what I'm saying, when you've already been in office. What action is needed to ensure Texas remains a national energy leader? Invest in clean energy, manufacturing, sustainable energy. What will you do to support small businesses? Driving investment into underserved, I don't like that word, underserved communities, expanding access to capital and creating jobs, co-lead bipartisan legislation, designating brownfield and Superfund sites as opportunity zones, unlocking private investments to redevelop land into small businesses. Okay, and so this part right here, the brownfield and Superfund sites. So those are previously contaminated. That's previously contaminated land that has been remediated in some sort of way. A Superfund site is, I believe that's the higher one, where like this site has been deemed so contaminated that nothing can be built there for X number of years, right? And it's a real big deal when that time is up because it's decades, right? So I see that as like, okay, well, if we make it an opportunity zone, then it'll be easier for small businesses to get in on the ground floor and build at lower costs. And also, I just get the heebie-jeebies about anything that was previously contaminated because, how do we know it was previously contaminated? But that is not my bailiwick. I usually will lean on the experts when it comes to that. So I would ask a whole lot of questions when she starts to introduce that. Oh, she says she co-leads it already, so they're already talking about that. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I would want to ask more questions about that. What do you see as the greatest challenge in the next 5 years? Affordability, rising housing. You're not wrong. Rising housing, healthcare, energy, and food costs are squeezing families while wages lag behind. You daggone Skippy, because in Harris County, the average salary is $37,000 or $38,000 a year. So, I mean, she right on the money for that one. Combined with climate-driven extreme weather and strained infrastructure, Texas must act now to lower costs and protect long-term opportunity. See, I think we have to be careful about some of these things because disasters happen, and also at the same time, what we experienced during even Beryl is no longer the situation on the ground now, even infrastructure wise. So, and as I understand it, it's improving more and more. We're never going to get down to a natural disaster hitting and then no power goes out. That's just not possible. So I don't know. I don't know that I would say that's part of our biggest challenge. Our biggest challenge, affordability, I can get with. So cool beans. So there goes Ahmad. Ahmad didn't tell us where he works, and he has a Yahoo account, which is just interesting. But he's 73. What would top priorities be? Lowering cost of healthcare and prescription drugs, expanding access to quality care, making life more affordable. Okay. I will fight for fast federal disaster aid and strong support from FEMA so families and communities get help quickly after. But that was the question, sweetheart. The question is, how will, anyhow, I get it. I get it. What action is needed to ensure? Okay. I appreciate that he answered the questions, but a lot of these are just repeating back the question itself. Cost of living is his biggest challenge. Well, yeah, that's the truth. Talarico, what you talking about, homie? That makes sense. I didn't know he was a Presbyterian seminarian. That's a that's a heck of a word to have to say. And like, just imagine introduce you. I'm a Presbyterian Samaritan. See, see, Holy Spirit ain't have to check me in a moment, but that's cool. Formal middle school teacher. I get that. He was probably a. You know what he gives me? He gives me the teacher off of Abbott Elementary. Like, that way too. So I wonder if that's accurate. Okay, what would your top priorities be? Tackle corruption to bring costs down for working people. Right now, billionaires and corporations are getting tax breaks while costs are rising for the rest of us. We should ban corporate PACs and big money out of our politics to make our economy work for working people. He gonna make me have to research this. So what's coming to mind is someone was talking to me, and I think it was about Talarico. I don't think it was about Crockett. That even though he's not taking money from corporate PACs, he did take money from someone who gave money to Trump. I'm gonna have to look that up. I feel like that's needs to know information. How will you ensure Texans are able to receive the appropriate aid? Expand eligibility for FEMA's pre-disaster mitigation program to help fortify at-risk homes and businesses and more effectively provide assistance after disasters. Work closely with FEMA to ensure impacted communities receive equitable, timely access to funding. Mm, I like this pre-disaster mitigation program. I like that. Um, I wonder what the eligibility restrictions are right now. What action is needed to ensure Texas remains a national energy leader? Mm-hmm. Add more jobs, reinstate federal tax credits. Okay. Support small businesses, end extreme tax breaks for large corporations to even the playing field, expand support for community development, financial. Those are called CDFIs. They are essentially community banks. The um, thought is that it is a lower barrier to entry for businesses to get loans and credit through CDFIs because of how they are set up and insured and the way that they operate. Um, I know that to not necessarily be the case for everyone, but they are the ones that are effective. The CDFIs that are effective are highly effective, but there are CDFIs that aren't. So maybe expanding the support for them would help. Broadening eligibility for SBA loans and support states in providing more equity, investment, and technical assistance. The only thing in this answer that feels real life on the ground for a small business owner, because yes, loans, expanding access to loans and eligibility, sure, sure, sure. But any amount of money that is given either as a loan or as a grant to a small business, that money's gonna go away. It's gonna go away. So most of the small business owners that I know, sure, capital is important to them, but most of them need technical assistance. They need, and that comes in the form of contractors to help out. Like there's a program out in Pearland that gives free consulting work for marketing or for financials, for anything. And that's the type of technical assistance that most small businesses actually need, even if out of their mouth they say what they need is a loan or they need some sort of financial capital. So I appreciate that he mentioned technical assistance for sure. What do you see as the greatest challenge for Texas in the next 5 years? Everybody say cost of living. They're not wrong. Um, and he is really heavy on this, like drain the swamp. I mean, that's not the language that he's using, and that's not democratic language, but um, he is hitting that. Oh, the corporations, and sure, the corporations. I do agree with that, especially right this moment. Huh? Okay. Okay. I want to look up that donation thing for Talarico. I think we should go on their websites. I've not been on their websites. Have you been on their websites, Jasmine and James and Talarico?
Maybe, maybe a click out.
Crockett, Texas tough. Go ahead. I like that. Texas tough. That sounds like a Texas slogan. I'm Texas tough. Okay. Oh wait, you didn't actually see that tab. Okay, that's Jasmine's. Let me go look at Jasmine. Wait, to Talarico's. It's time to start flipping tables. Hmm. I mean, this isn't about marketing. I would have done better. Hey, friend.
I know SmackDown.
No, girl,
Oh.
ain't nobody even worried about that. Come, just you ain't got to put your head in the camera, but just take a look at this picture.
Oh wow. Is it a video?
It looks like it's a video too. I guess we should watch.
It's gonna scan, and it's not.
He even talks like the dude with his hands. He even talks like the dude from Abbott Elementary. Okay, guy. Okay, guy. Oh, James. What? No one said anything to you, James? When Y'all, I love this background, but this one token black person in this shot is killing me. If all you had was white people to work with, bro, just work with the white people. Don't just plug the random black kid in the front. Like, I just feel like they were there and they were like, shoot, it's very, lots of white people of all ages. We need a Hispanic, Latin looking kid, and that's just I don't like that. I will say I don't like that was staged. I mean, it would be interesting to know if that was accidental, just like coincidence. I think not. Like bro is way too shaped. Um, I don't like that. I don't like that. I didn't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that he didn't have someone on his team to tell him that either. I don't like that. Ew. That kind of
The
guy.
work, maybe the work.
Yeah.
Maybe that kid set up there. Maybe he's like, I'm sitting smack dab right here.
Yeah, maybe he did
'Cause
make that
was
decision.
The way that he said, there was no way for him not to be on camera looking like he's right next to him.
So maybe he made that decision. Like, hey, let me be your color. Let me be the color in you. And like, I mean,
and maybe
I think we've all done that.
Like, I really love this cat. Like, I like him. I like what he's talking about.
Yeah. Are you down for this dude? I want to know who this kid is. Like now, where's the video with this guy? Like, tell me your thoughts, homie. Because maybe, I mean, because Talarico is a good candidate. I could absolutely see people supporting him, but I don't like that no one on Talarico's team said that looks not great.
Or that looks questionable.
Yeah, that's going to raise eyebrows. That looks staged. Like when you're trying to run an authentic campaign. Okay. If he doesn't make it in, I really hope he stays part of the conversation. Like, I really, really hope he stays part of the conversation. If he does, he's got to get more pictures on his website. He just needs more pictures. That's all. No big deal. Let's go see what Jazz got going on. What are you doing, Jasmine? For too long, Texas has elected senators who have defended politics as usual and protected the status quo. Ooh, while Texans pay the price. Okay, friend. Okay. I'd have picked a different picture here too, but I'm not these people's website designer, and I just need to remember that. Okay. Her daddy Joe was a school teacher and a preacher at their home. Presbyterian, seminarian. I can say it. Served in the federal government for more than 3 decades. Okay. I don't know that I've ever actually researched Jasmine herself, just what she be doing up there. I noticed that her website is okay. Never mind. I was gonna say her website is less dense than his, but then I clicked on issues and she got an answer for everything. I wonder what his looks like. Let's see what his issues look like. Okay. All right. So they're about equal was the answer. So that is that race. And this is why I completely understand that everybody doesn't want to research their ballot because we just spent 30 minutes on a race that we know most of the things about. So, yep. We're going to keep going though because I have, what time is it?
6:16.
6:16. I have a call at 8 and I have to read the Bible before my call.
And I have leaving at 7.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay.
So now you gotta really search him up.
Let's see how fast we can go. Let's see. Oh, I'm not getting through the whole ballot today. Everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. That struck the nerve. That struck the nerve for
It did, because y'all are killing me, man. Well, I mean, I only pay attention to these, all of them. Okay, let me share my screen again so I can. Okay, what's on my ballot? Okay. Then we have U.S. reps for districts 2, 7. Those are not contended races for 2 and 7. Then we have 8, 9, 18. Which district do I live in now? Okay. So we're going to find out what district I live in now because that's important. Well, no, now because of the new maps.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I used to be right on the edge of the 18th. And so, and this is showing me the old map. Give me the new map. And, I find it interesting that the county website is not working the way it's supposed to. So it's not even easy for you to find out exactly which district you're in.
Yeah.
I don't think this is what I'm looking for. There we go. They playing with me. I know I'm not on the United States government. No, I'm on the Texas website, and they steady showing me the old map. I'm trying to watch my language. I'm doing the best I can, but I know this is this the old map or am I tripping? That is the old map. I'm pretty sure that's the old map. Oh wait, I should show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is the old map, if I'm not mistaken. And I could be. Maybe I'm tripping. But on this here website, each district has an ideal 2020. I will not be denied. Crikey. Hey, what is this? Ooh, buddy. I don't think they have the updated maps on the daggone website, and that is wild. Like, I could not be. I know I'm not tripping. Because I could swear, like, it used to be the crab, and now it's more of a California shape, like a reverse California. This is a map of that's 2023. 2025 has redrawn territory, which has moved to a new district. Okay, this might be more us, but it still doesn't tell me nothing. All right, that's cool. It's from 2025. This is stressing me out just a little bit. All right. Let's gain 5. Republicans. That's not. I want a map. I want a map. It's gonna take me another 30 minutes just to figure out which dang on that. Ooh, the game y'all play, bro. Okay, here we go. Talk to me. My goodness. Come on, Texas Tribune. Come through with the come through. All right. So this is, I'm looking at 18 because I think I am now squarely in 18 versus before I was right on the edge. So let's see. Okay. I am not a quitter. Oh, Jesus, did I find it? No, I don't think I found the official, but let's find out. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, I've been playing myself. So 18 shape did change. It used to come down this way a little bit further, but now that's been moved into 9. Okay, so I've been playing myself. That's cool. And so 18 shape is still, and you see how the districting is done. You see how 29 is shaped. So if you know anything about Houston, that means that we have someone representing Aldine and right there. Yeah, so we have someone representing that, but also Galena Park all the way over here, some of Pasadena, some of South Houston. Like one person, those areas of the city do not have very much in common. Um, I've long had, and most people do. We all have issues with the district, with the map. So let me just not cry over spilled milk in this moment and figure out whether I am an 18. I'm either an 18 or 29. It looks like I'm still on that border. So I'm in 29. Okay. I'm gonna have to research both of them because I'm. Oh, wait. I can actually put my address in here. Hold on. I'm gonna stop sharing, or I'm gonna share this one with y'all. Put my address in here, and then we shall find out. Yeah, I'm 29. Ugh. No, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Okay, so don't be childish. I was really looking forward to voting in 18, but such is life. We all have a cross to bear. All right. So now I need to go back and find my ballot again. All right. So I am 29. Okay, let me say this. Anyone who's having to vote in these congressional races, y'all, these are so good. Um okay, okay. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Okay. So let me go over 18 real quick because we know this one. So Christian Menifee just won the special election. And so he is doing his 1 year to finish off originally Sheila Jackson Lee's term in Congress. My goodness, that feels like so long ago. But so he's filling in this last year. So he's technically the incumbent in the race. And we all know Christian. He's been around town. He's well endorsed, well funded. Right. So he's still essentially new to the game. Amanda Edwards has pulled out of the race. You will see her on your ballot, but technically she is no longer in the race. You are still more than welcome to vote for her. And if enough people voted for Amanda, she would end up winning the race because she's still technically on the ballot. Gretchen Brown I've met her. I like Gretchen. So she is really new to the game or she's absolutely new to this race. I don't know if she's run before, but she is new to this race. And it almost fell out of place. I haven't talked to her since she announced for 18. And it's really interesting that she decided to run in this race. Now, last year I was introduced to this concept of people running for office just to get their name out there, even in races that they know that they're not going to win, for the idea of getting brand recognition for the next time that they run, right? So it's possible that that's why she's in this race, but it's also possible that she's dead serious. So if you're an 18, go look her up. If I have time, by the time I get to the end of my ballot, I will go back and go look her up for y'all. Al Green has been in the game for forever. Now, here's where the mess happens. Because of the redistricting that just happened, he used to represent District 9. District 9? It's either 9 or 29. Either way, Al Green used to represent a different district. With the redistricting, he got shoved over into District 18. Technically, he could have run for any other district, right? But he lives in District 18. The same seat that he ran for before, or the same home that he lived in when he ran for the seat before, is now zoned to District 18. So he has insisted on running. Right now, you have this idea of Al Green versus Christian Menifee, this senior in leadership, senior in Congress, who has a bunch of relationships, knows a bunch of people, is now running up against Christian Menifee, which is a powerhouse in and of himself. He is younger. Folks are ready for the mantle to be taken over. And of course, they're also concerned that District 18 is going to go without a representative again. And as you just saw on the maps, District 18, even though it's slightly different, it does still include some pretty big neighborhoods, mainly. And so folks are concerned that they've already had to go without a Congress member because Sheila Jackson Lee died, and then Sylvester Turner died, and then it took forever for the special election to be held and run its course. And so here we are, 3 years into a term, and we, on our 4th year, we get this representative in the shape of Christian Menifee, which again is a brand new person. He is new to Washington. He's not new to politics. He is new to Washington. And so there, of course, is concern that if Al Green were to take it, that he would pass, and then we have no succession plan. As I understand it, Al Green is working on a succession plan, but it's not something that he feels comfortable verbalizing until the details are worked out, and that won't be until after the primary. This is what I'm told. Now, there are folks who are very pro Al because we are starting to lose a lot of seniority in Congress. And when we lose seniority, we also lose those relationships that have already been cultivated. So those relationships, those favors even that have been earned up by someone who's been there as long as Al Green, Christian Menifee or someone like Christian Menifee isn't already going to have up there. And so there are these two different schools of thought. And I don't think that either one of them is wrong, right? I am someone, I have reported in DC briefly I have watched politics. I've been around some folks, not deep, right? But I know enough to make me dangerous. And so I do appreciate that Al has that seniority. And I would want a warm pass off from him to the next person. But that hasn't happened yet. And how do we know that that's going to happen before? So either way, that's kind of where that race sits. Again, if you want, you can vote for Amanda, and it would be really fun if Amanda ended up winning a race that she pulled out of. So I am in District 29. District 29 has Sylvia Garcia, and this is yet another district that has been moved around and shuffled. And so we have three heavy hitters in this race. Sylvia Garcia has been in office. Shoot, I'm gonna look it up. Let's look it up. How long has Sylvia been there? This is great lighting, by the way. This is like fantastic lighting. Sylvia Garcia. Let's see how long she's been in there. So she's 75. She's been in office now. The Wikipedia. Wow. She's held offices before that. That's what that is. That's what I'm remembering. Okay. So 2019, she has been in office. So let's say 7 years in that particular office. And before, oh, Green, Al Green beat her. So that's right. Al Green was previously 29. Wait, is that right? No, this is Gene Green. Which district was Al before? Al is currently representing Texas 9. I knew it had a fucking 9 in it. Okay. So Sylvia has been in Washington since 2019. She was in the state house, the state senate before then. So 2013 to 2018. And before then, she was on commissioner's court. Because I remember reading her and then reading stories with her name in it in high school when I was reading the newspaper with my grandpa. So, and she was a judge before then. So she's a lifetime public servant. I know she moves around the community quite well. You'll see Sylvia at most things. That's really cool. That anyhow, the Library of Congress is the library that has every book known to man. So, and just because this is here, I'm going to click here in case you haven't seen it. So Al Green is in the news because he held up this sign and then he got escorted out. And there were a bunch of people who applauded, and I'm happy for them. Good for them. Okay, so that's Sylvia has been in office. I mean, over and over. She does show up to things. I don't really have much more to add about Sylvia. Okay. So Jarvis Johnson is the second one that I'm gonna look up for us. I believe he was in Texas Senate. It was a Texas seat before. Pretty well known, likable guy. What is his? I don't think he's currently in office. No, he's not. Okay, so he was a former Texas state rep. So for my folks who are paying attention, we have three levels of government. You have local, state, federal. On your local level, that's going to be the most expansive. You're going to have your school board on the local level. You're going to have County and city. If you're in Louisiana, that would be parish. So Jarvis was in on the state level, not local, state, not federal, but state. That's important to know. All right, so he is 54, so middle of the pack, not super young, but not very senior, if you will. Uh, let's go to the news tab. Cause see, I believe he came in. Let me get some. Let me get some. Let me get some years. Cause some of these folks I know from. There we go. Some of them I know from when I lived in Houston originally. Some I know from when I came and stopped off the last time in Houston, and some of them I know from this last few years that I've been back home. And folks like Jarvis Johnson, their names feel vaguely familiar. But when it feels like that, it usually tells me that they weren't in public service before I left Houston the first time. So that is true. He came around in 2005 and ran for city council. Oh, I would love to know what my grandpa thought about him. See, I got 4,000 votes, and he got into a runoff. Why I couldn't get in a runoff with my little 4,000? Because he was running in a district race and not a citywide race. That's why. And that is how low voter turnout is that 4,000 votes in a city of millions will shift. Because even in 2005, this was still a city of millions. Okay, so he was District B. Let's remind ourselves where District B is. District B. Oh, he's on the north side. So Acres Home, Fifth Ward, probably Aldine is in there. Okay. No, Aldine. Did Aldine form their own? Anyhow. He did some work on the budget committee. I really appreciate that experience in the housing and community. Then he ran for U.S. Rep against Sheila Jackson Lee and obviously lost that. And then he ran in 2016 for. That was ballsy. He really ran against Sheila, huh? I think anyone who ran against her that's just really interesting. Like not in a good or a bad way. It's just interesting. Okay, so he took over Sylvester Turner's state representative seat. Mm-hmm. He advocated for HBCU funding. Oh, he's got a pretty good track record for what we need in Congress right now with everything that's going on. For 3 consecutive legislative seasons, he filed bills to end Confederate Heroes Day. I mean, the receipts are receding. All right, so let's check the news tab real quick. I mean, this is probably going to be the last race that I can get through before I need to depart. And then I will rejoin at some point. I can't tell you when. Okay, so we've got Ballotopedia. The polls are showing that Sylvia Garcia is on track to win the primary, which makes sense because we haven't gotten to the third person in that race, and that was intentional. Okay. Okay. That is just so interesting. And he's absolutely an easy person to talk to. Although you can tell he's been in politics for a while, I can always tell the folks who have been in politics for a minute because when you're at events, they will meet you, but they're also scanning the room for other people and their conversation with you once they figure out or decide that you're not holding certain titles and all of that. You don't get as extended conversation. And for most of the time, as long as they're not rude, I understand because you're trying to work. Like we may see them after hours, but they are trying to work. I am usually working after hours, and so I get that. But either way, when I met him, I was able to tell he's been in the game for a little bit. So that is Jarvis Johnson. Now let's go to Robert Slater. Yes. Okay. So Rob Slater I believe he's brand new to politics. If I'm not mistaken, he is absolutely brand new to politics. And tonight I'm doing some pretty surface level, partly because this is so much, and what I end up doing will take time. Okay, this election was last year, which I'll tell you about in a second. He ran for District 18. He ran in that big special election last year that had like 14, 50 people, 15 people in it. He ran in that special election and he pulled out early because the redistricting was going on. And I think he made a strategic decision that he would prefer to hold off and run for 2026 for 29 for Texas House 26. 29. So I have met Rob Slater several times. I've seen him speak. What I appreciate about him is one, he is not a career politician. He is about public service. I also appreciate that he's an entrepreneur and he's a businessman. So when he is talking about solutions, he's talking about it in a way, some people wanted to call somebody else a business executive and they think in a different way, whatever, whatever. I saw that argument, just not with that person. But with Rob Slater, I do see it. He's thinking in forms of strategy, long-term strategy. And so if, these guys are talking about this strategy, then how do we counteract that? How long does it take? What are the timelines? How, this is what we'll need to do to get everyone on the same page. Now he's a newcomer, which means he doesn't have all of the relationships that, say, a Sylvia Garcia or a Jarvis Johnson has. But what he brings to the table, looking at something pragmatically, logically, strategically, I so appreciate that. And so when he was in the 18 race and I went to some of the forums, he very quickly stood out to me because everyone else was reporting the party line. Whatever it was that the Democratic Party has said is the party line, they were all saying a different version of that, but exactly what that party line was. Rob Slater stood out because he wasn't towing the party line. He wasn't regurgitating those talking points that had been given to him by the party. Did he hit on them? Yes, because if you're running on the Democratic ticket, it would only make sense that you showcase that you know what those priorities are for that party, right? But you could tell that he had done his own thinking. Not he had some team do the thinking for him and draft up his notes and his bullets. He had done the thinking for himself and led his team. And it was impressive to me because you could see that just from a candidate forum. I didn't need him to come and talk to me personally after. I didn't need him to do a commercial and then I see it in the commercial. I didn't need him to tell me that he's a community-centric person because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to what he's saying and everything that he's saying is in line with community. And I so appreciated, I mean, just greatly. But I saw him in this big old pool and I'm like, man, I don't know if that man gonna be able to pull it out in 18. So when he pulled out strategically to run for 29, wisdom. You see what I'm saying? It's the strategy behind it, because there were tons of people in that race last year as the redistricting was going on. He was one of, I want to say 3. I only know one other that pulled out and kind of decided to shift gears and run in the new districted races. Which meant they had to swallow their pride, swallow their ego, and shift their strategy from running for this thing that's right in front of them to, let's delay this, let's back up a little bit, let's retool, pivot this way, and run for this race. I appreciate that frame of thinking, because that tells me that you're never thinking short term, right? So I say all that to say, I very much appreciate Rob Slater. And I think if he were to win the primary, we have an opportunity, because when we're talking about the primary, we also have to think about, you're picking someone right now to run up against the other team in November. So I tell people to think about it like the Super Bowl. You got your, was it Eastern Conference, Western Conference? I don't remember the conference name, but you got the 2 conferences, right? And they, what is it? NFC East. This,
NFC, I guess it'd be West or South.
That's what I think. I think it's Western, East and West.
And then there's like, yeah, keep going.
Okay. So they are battling it out, and that's where we are, right? That's the primaries, is we are deciding who's going to represent Conference 1, who's going to represent Conference 2, so that in November they will meet up at the Super Bowl and we will see who wins out, right? So if you're voting in the Democratic primary or the Republican primary, it would behoove you to take a look at the other side, because you're trying to pick the person in your conference that has the best chance at picking the person that they pick in their conference, right? And so when I look at this particular race, it is hard, because I don't know, and I'm going to have to go look at the Republican side. That's the solution. I need to go look at the practice what you preach. So when I get back on this, I will look at the Republican side and kind of gauge that a little bit to see if we can predict who they're going to pick on their side. I so enjoy Rob Slater as a candidate. I have to now ask myself, do I think he can do a better job at the job and a better job at winning against the Republicans in November than Jarvis Johnson and Sylvia Garcia? Sylvia Garcia has been in office for forever. Jarvis has been in office in a medium. Ooh, that one's difficult. But that's probably why Sylvia is showing well in the polls, because Jarvis Johnson and Rob Slater are splitting a lot of the voters. Not just because they're both Black men, but they are both Black men who are middle-aged, right? So not too young, not too old. From what I can tell, both of them are pretty community-centric guys. I think Rob Slater is more connected to the community, but for all I know, I don't know Jarvis like that. For all I know, Jarvis Johnson is also truly connected to the community. And let me be clear, when I'm talking about the community, I'm talking about regular schmegular people, like regular schmegular, walk down the street, run into them type people, like folks who, you know, may have car notes or, you know, are leasing their car, folks who have either recently purchased or, you know, like they in their family are owning their first home, or, you know, they're of the generation where the whole generation is able to purchase their homes separately. You know, folks who know what paycheck to paycheck looks like. Like, I'm talking about that part of the community. Yes, the small, medium-sized business owners are part of the community. Yes, folks who work these 9-to-5 corporate jobs, they are also part of the community, but their needs are completely different than regular schmegular people, because again, the average salary in this county is $38,000 a year. So I'm not talking about the folks who are making $90,000 and above. As far as I'm concerned, figure it out. Like, not to say it's easy to figure out in this economy with all of the tomfoolery, but I'm more concerned about the people who don't have the means to truly figure it out. And I think Rob Slater is more connected to those folks than to that population than Jarvis Johnson is. But I'll have to look a little bit deeper into Jarvis Johnson. So that is District 29. Let me go back to this ballot. I'm going to show you how long I'm going to be doing this. So these are the districts. I don't know any of those people. Okay. That's Texas representatives. Then we have governor that I need to look at because I want to look at everyone. I have seen Gina all over the place, but I want to give an opportunity because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 people in the governor's Democratic race. So, wow. And this is why I tell people to research their ballots, please. Because the commercials are not going to tell you everything. Okay, then we got lieutenant governor. Then we have attorney general, comptroller, commissioner of general land office. I'm sure that's a state office. Commissioner of agriculture, railroad commissioner. That's uncontended. Some of these are uncontended, so I won't have to worry about it. We've got Justice Supreme Court seats. We've got state Senate seats, state representatives. And remember, we got federal, state, and local. So all of the state representatives are on this ballot. Then you have your judges. You have your civil judges, your criminal judges, your justices of the peace, your family district judges. Then you have your county civil court judges. See, because this was, I believe that was city. Is that city? I don't know. But so now we got the county judges, district clerk. I haven't seen, there we go. County clerk, county commissioner, county school trustee. We got our school trustees. There go our justices of the peace. Then we have propositions. I'll be daggone. I am not going to lie to you. I suspected we had propositions. I am disturbed by how little I have seen about the daggone propositions that are on here. I hope they're not important or anything. Let's see. 6, 7, 12, 13. We also have to vote for the precinct chairs and the Democratic Party chair, which that's been an interesting race. If you're like, I'm telling y'all, if you're not in those rooms, like you should get in some of those rooms because the conversations in the back end, a lot of times you won't have to sit here and research because there's enough said, and you're able to do research a lot quicker. Okay, Texas should prevent. So there's 13 propositions. And then again, the precinct chairs. So, yeah, I'm gauging. That's actually not as long as I thought it was. It's long, but it's not as long as I thought it was. So I would gauge I need to sit down at least another 3 times for a couple of hours. I can't tell you I will announce them. I can't tell you any of this is going to be structured in any way, but I will get it done. All right, so that's all for now.